Welcome to An Incomplete History.
I'm Hillary,
And I'm Jeff.
and we're your hosts for this weekly history podcast.
So welcome to our continuing series on innovative software solutions for all of us as we find ourselves kind of pushed into extending our time teaching online, teaching virtually. And as I said at the end of the last video, I think it's an opportunity for educators and for students to reevaluate the tools we use, what goes into the production of those tools, what are the core values behind those tools, and how can we support those core values. So just to repeat again what those core values are, there's this idea of free and open source software. The idea that you have kind of certain rights, or you should have certain rights with this software. And one of them is that you can actually tinker with the software. You can do stuff to it and kind of tweak it and make it even better and then redistribute that back out. And that it's free. And we use this software together to make things great, right? The next component is this idea of controlling your content and improving your own security. So making sure that your security and your ability to create the things you make or control the things you make are at the forefront in whatever products you're using. And then finally, the third is this idea of cross-platform compatibility. That no matter what kind of machine I hop onto, whether it's a Windows PC, whether it's a Mac OS device, or a Linux box, or even an Android phone or an iOS device like an iPhone or an iPad, I can theoretically use as many of these tools as possible. So with that in mind, today I'm actually going to talk about the things you actually use to create videos like this video, this how-to video. And what are the easiest ways to do it? What are the easiest ways that don't compromise your own security and ability to control your content? And then what might be the most flexible as far as once you decide you want to get really fancy? So I want to talk about a couple of options here, and I'm going to start with two that you probably have access to through your Institute of Higher Education or your K through 12 institution. And the first of those is Zoom. So, a year ago, who would have known that Zoom would be as ubiquitous as it is now? It's quickly turning into its own kind of Zoom means something, right? We don't call it that I'm going to go get on a video conference. We say I'm going to go Zoom with people. So Zoom, you may be getting it for free through your institution. And you might say, well, that's great. It's free. That's fantastic. Well, is it free? Zoom had a series of security issues. It's supposedly addressed those. But there's a deeper issue here too. And don't get me wrong, I like Zoom. I think its interface is good. It works well for what it needs to do. They've got some really good training groups to teach instructors, to teach K through 12 teachers, to teach professors at institutes of higher education how to use their product. And it's really easy to set up to record lectures, whether they're live lectures or recorded, right? And some people don't think of this. If you're using Zoom, you can set up a Zoom meeting with just you and then record your shared screen with your webcam inset into it. And you're actually pretty good to go that way. I mean, you could do that for all of your lectures if you have to post your lectures online and then just post them directly from Zoom and you'd be good to go and done. The problem is who owns those videos and what's the provenance of them, right? I mean, it's you've created those videos, but now if Zoom's hosting them or the university is hosting them or your K through 12 school is hosting them, who owns those videos and who has a right to that intellectual property you've created? That's a gray area. But if you're just getting started and you're very kind of nervous about delivering online material to your students, this may be the best solution for you, especially if it's already being paid for by your university. Now, another option you may have at your university, particularly if your university has made the transition to Google Suite or G Suite, is Google Meet. So Google Meet is basically Google's competition with Zoom. And Google Meet does much of the same things. It covers the same ground, but it comes with the same caveats, right? The idea of who owns that content once you've created it. Now, it's good. It's stable. It works really well at what it does. And it's getting better and better, right? They've actually had to get better because of how things are going. But again, who owns your content is a big question. Now, with Zoom and Google Meet, another question is your bandwidth. So say your bandwidth isn't all that good. Say your connection to the internet is sporadic, and sometimes it's really good, but sometimes it's a little wonky. Both of these are saving things remotely, right? So there may be an issue there. Now, some of the solutions I'm going to give you kind of overcome some of those limitations. But another option, and I'll mention these, is some learning management systems have built-in video conference functions as well. Canvas has one kind of. They have a way for you to record lectures and things called Canvas Studio. It's not bad, and it's really easy to drag those over into your Canvas site for your course. However, there's an issue there. There again is an issue of who owns those videos, and are you relinquishing control at any point? Do you want your lectures just floating out in the internet kind of unprotected? Blackboard has one as well. I've had to use the one for Blackboard recently at a conference I participated in. I think it's terrible. I think it's one of the worst things. I don't like Blackboard. I'm not a fan. I feel like it feels like mid-90s internet in the worst possible way. We don't even get kind of the glittery GIFs and things. It's really unstable. It's a bandwidth hog. I have a pretty beefy system that I use at home, and it strains under it, especially if you've got 30 some odd people all connected with video. And again, it brings up the same questions Zoom, Google Meet, and Canvas Studio bring up. Who owns those videos? So all of those have their own issues. Honestly, Zoom, I think you're better off using Zoom. If you have to use one of those four things, probably Zoom, because it's the one your students are going to be most comfortable with, especially if you're not just using it to record lectures, but maybe you're using it to hold live discussion sections or live seminars, things like that. And you can get to really know the product well, so you can kind of become adept at going back and forth between functions. However, the options I'm going to give you, I think, maybe privilege things like security and privacy a little bit more, and they're free and open source. Google Meet, Zoom, Blackboard's video conferencing function, and Canvas Studio, they're not really free and open source. And for me, that's an issue, and for you, it may be as well. So the first one I want to talk about is native to Windows only. And I know cross-platform compatibility is something I'm talking about, but I love this tool so much, and I wish the people working on him would help him port this to other platforms. But it's called Captura, and it works on Windows, and it's free and open source, although it is copyrighted. You can see right here, you go right here under github.io to Captura, and it just works. It works really well. You have a lot of control over how you capture your screen and what you do with it. And I'm actually using Captura right now because it works so well. The only problem is Captura only works on Windows machines. And the reason is it uses Windows Net 4.7.2 for some of its code. So it actually can't work on other platforms. And that's a shame because it's so good. I mean, if there was Captura cross-platform, it would hands down be my favorite because it's just so easy to use. If you're on a Windows machine and you really just use Windows machines to do this, I would highly recommend Captura. However, most of us have to have kind of cross-platform compatibility in mind. So what I would say to that is go to OBS Studio. So OBS Studio is in many ways the free and open source alternative to Camtasia. Now, for many educators, you might be familiar with it with Camtasia. Camtasia is a huge program. It's expensive. Your university may have bought it for you. And, while everything can be saved locally, so you maintain control over it, and security isn't an issue with Camtasia, it's definitely not free and open source. And if you're from maybe a school district that doesn't have enough money to throw around, or you're having to buy these things on your own, Camtasia is an expensive proposition, right? I mean, we can even go and see what the going rate for Camtasia is right now. Usually they won't tell you right up what it is. You have to download a trial, and then once you do the trial, then they tell you how much you'll be on the hook for if you actually want to buy it. Let's click it. If we get buy now, let's see what it gets us. Let's see how fast they tell us how much they want from us. $249, one-time fee. I guess. I mean, it's cross-platform compatible and that it goes on Windows and Mac OS. If I remember correctly, though, if you buy it for one platform, you have to rebuy it for the other platform. Now, that may have changed in the 2020 release. Now, they do say there's education, nonprofit, and teacher pricing. Let's see what that... So that knocks a little bit down, right? I mean, $169, definitely not free. And for most of our students, that's nothing that they can comfortably afford. And it is a little bit easier to use than OBS Studio in some ways. And you get quicker support because there's kind of a dedicated support system. However, OBS is fantastic. A lot of gamers who stream their video games use OBS. It's cross-platform, Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. You can see right there. It's free and open source software for video recording and live streaming. And what it lets you do, and I'll open up my OBS window here, is you can add different sources. So I can add my browser. So I'm going to add my browser, and I'm going to look for which browser I want. Oh, well, this is their native browser. I don't want to do that. Let's take that out. I want to add my window. And I want to add Firefox. Now, you might get a little bit of an infinity screen going on here. You notice it lets you kind of size it, which is great because what it means is I could have a window going on there so you could see what I was doing. And then I could add another window where I wanted to show something like, where is it? It disappeared. Captura. And you can really, modify a lot of stuff here. I don't know why that's coming over. It's easy to add your webcam in here. It's easy to add multiple windows. You can have a lot going on here. It can become a resource hog if you have a lot of kind of sources going on as you try to record. But you can either stream, so you can set it up to stream to something like YouTube or Twitch, or you could set it to record. And the settings features are pretty robust. You can set up different scenes, so maybe for different courses you have different ways you like to operate. You can size these any way you want. You can add your webcam as well. Let's see about adding my webcam in here. Video capture. I don't want my video capture device. You can add your. Yeah, I do want my video capture device. Yep, there it is. So I wonder why that is doing that. Let's delete that. Let's delete that. Let's delete that. And let's add that video capture device back in. That's very odd. It can be a little wonky. I will say this. I mean, OBS is doing a lot of stuff, but you know, it will work. You just have to kind of sometimes try a few different things to kind of get it to work well. You can set up different scenes. I don't use it a lot because I use Captura all the time. I have used OBS. I use it on my Linux box. It works well. I've streamed things from there very successfully. So you've got OBS as an option. You've got Captura. You've also got Zoom. Remember Zoom and Google Meet, and you can kind of save video from there and download the video on it. And honestly, you can just upload that video without even modifying it if you want. But if you want to get a little fancy, the next free and open source thing I would suggest is something called Kdenlive. You need a video editor. So Kdenlive is not about recording video. It's about editing your video into something. And this is the interface for Kdenlive. And if you've ever used anything like Premiere or other video editing software, this should be pretty familiar. You can add videos in here. So I can add a video I had done earlier. It doesn't like it. It's, because I deleted that. Let's find one that I didn't delete. And it'll kind of warn me that no profile has been found. But I mean, I can go in and do a lot with this video, and I can drag it into a time bar and do all sorts of fun stuff with it. I can also add effects to it. It's got pretty robust video effects. I can add a title page. I can add exit page. I can add scrolling credits at the end, a lot of different things. Kdenlive is basically going to polish it up and let you make it into something really fancy. Now, what I would tell you is this. One thing that I've discovered over the last 6 months now, and many of my colleagues have shared that they have as well, is this transition to online education and us having to make our content available for students has put us a lot of us into the position that we think we have to make perfect Hollywood quality style lecture videos. You need to discard that idea. That is not what we're trying to do at all. What we're trying to do is convey education materials, convey the knowledge we have, the things we want our students to learn via an online platform in the most efficient way we can, given the circumstances. So what that means is it's not going to be a polished Hollywood video, but it also can't just be a replication of a lecture, a class lecture. It has to kind of pick and choose from different things. So Kdenlive is great. Honestly, though, you don't need it unless you want to really edit your videos. But if you do want to polish your videos a little bit, you can do that. You know, if you're just getting started in this and you have Zoom provided for your university, use that, upload that, or use Canvas Studio or something like that. Just be aware there are other tools you can start to use once you kind of progress and want to get a little more complex in what you're doing. Now, alongside video, you might want to do audio. And, you know, this is all part of our Incomplete History podcast. And the audio software I use to kind of produce our podcast that we do is Audacity. It is free and open source, cross-platform, so it ticks all our boxes, and it's really easy to use. It does everything I want it to do. There's never anything I've tried to do that it was just like, can't do it. It's got a huge array of import and export formats. You have real granular control over sound quality. The learning curve is not terribly steep on it. So maybe if you want to move some of your lectures into a podcast format, this is an idea. It can record directly from your microphone. So maybe you want to do little snippets of audio to send students to do audio commentary, maybe on an assignment. You can do that, right? You can also create audio in Audacity and then bring it into something like Kdenlive. If you wanted to do a voiceover over something. So those are kind of just some good tools for you to get started with content creation, right? So you've got Zoom, you've got Google Meet, you've got Canvas Studio, you've also got Blackboard's something Ultra, Collaborate Ultra or something. It's the worst, honestly. I pity you if you have to use that, because it's just, right now, it's just not in a very good place. Then you've got OBS and Captura. If you're on a Windows system, Captura, so easy to use, strongly recommended. If you're not, OBS is a little more complicated, but definitely doable. I know I had some problems there with it today, but it's pretty doable. I think my problems might be because I'm running it in a smaller window than it's set to run in. Then Kdenlive for video editing, and Audacity for audio editing. And I think these provide you the key tools you need to kind of manage the creation of your digital media.